One of the founding founders of Western philosophical thinking, Socrates, went on trial. Many Athenians saw him as a dangerous opponent of the state, accusing him of corrupting the youth and refusing to acknowledge their gods. However, Socrates was feared for asking too many questions rather than pretending to have all the answers. While he despised formal lectures, the philosopher regularly engaged in extensive discussions about morality and society with friends and strangers. These were not arguments, and Socrates did not provide clear counsel. In reality, the philosopher frequently pretended to know nothing at all, simply responding to his partner's responses with more questions. However, Socrates investigated their argument, exposing faults and assisting both sides in reaching a more profound understanding. Socrates' fans adored him for his perceptive inquiries. Plato and Xenophon, two of his students, were so enthused that they recreated their mentor's approach in fictitious dialogues. These made-up discussions are exemplary examples of what became known as the Socratic Method. Socrates is chatting with a young man named Euthydemus in one of these manufactured dialogues, who is certain that he understands the nature of justice and injustice. Socrates tests the student's morals by asking him to classify activities like lying and stealing as right or unjust. Euthydemus categorizes them as injustices, but this raises another question: is it permissible for a general to mislead or loot an enemy army? Euthydemus retracts his claim. He says that these behaviors are just when performed on foes, but unjust when performed on friends. But Socrates isn't done yet. He urges the young guy to imagine a leader deceiving his troops in order to increase morale. Euthydemus soon becomes depressed. Every solution appears to create new difficulties, and perhaps he doesn't know what defines justice after all. Socrates regarded himself as a midwife whose inquiries help others give birth to their thoughts when he used this question-oriented method. His questioning style elicits in individuals unquestioned beliefs and then confronts those prejudices. It may not always yield final solutions, but it does assist in clarifying problems and removing conflicting or circular thinking. And by following a path of inquiry where it logically goes, both the questioner and the answerer may find themselves in unexpected locations. This strategy is not restricted by the substance of the talk, making it extremely helpful in a variety of sectors. The approach was used to teach clinical medicine throughout the Renaissance. While a doctor questioned their beliefs and monitored the conversation, students gave their explanations for various diagnoses. The approach might potentially generate clear findings in this scenario. This method was eventually adopted by other fields, including astronomy, botany, and mathematics. Following the Protestant Reformation, it was repurposed to address abstract religious problems. The approach became an integral feature of American legal education in the 19th century. Professors tested students' knowledge of judicial reasoning by presenting them with unexpected hypothetical circumstances. The Supreme Court still used this method to foresee the unexpected consequences of enacting legislation. The Socratic method may be used to teach practically any subject that requires critical thinking, but its success is dependent on the instructor who uses it. An effective Socratic instructor must be knowledgeable about their subject. Rather than abusing their pupils or flaunting their superior knowledge, they should be humble, genuinely interested, and appreciative of every input. Socrates may not have been the most nuanced Socratic instructor in this sense. Historians say he was a harsh critic of Athens' brand of democracy and was known to carry those worries on to his followers. These subversive ideals were twisted in public forums and were alleged to have motivated two of his students to treacherous purposes. Socrates was most likely tried and condemned to death for these opinions. Even on his deathbed, artists represent a peaceful philosopher constantly keen to pursue the ultimate question. Please subscribe to my channel Lessons of Life and press the bell notification icon.